Okay, so I'm going to talk about some specific exercises that you can do on the guitar that's going to help you with your hammer-ons and your pull-off sequences. Especially if you're a beginner, if you haven't played lead guitar very long or hadn't been playing very long, you may struggle with doing things like this. And what I mean by struggle is when I play it, you can hear every note cleanly, and whether I go up or down, you can hear every note cleanly. But when you first start off, when you learn, hammer-ons and hammer-offs and things like that, it's can be a bit difficult if your muscles aren't developed in between your fingers to play them properly. So today I'm just going to show some exercises with the left hand that's really going to get that going for you. If you do these exercises 10 minutes a day, in about a month or so, you're going to be, really flying with your left hand, which is what you want to do, and you're going to have that strength and the endurance that you need to play what you need to play. This also works with the right hand. There's a few warm-ups that I do with the right hand, but really with the right hand picking, it's really about just syncing both of the hands together and making sure that both hands are doing what you want them to do at the same time. So anyway, I'm going to show you those. So you can also use these as a warm-up tool, and I still use them today. I don't use them as much as I used to use them, but as far as that goes, they're still very good warm-ups to do, because when you first start playing in the morning or, whatever time of the day you play, whenever you start playing, sometimes your hands are a little stiff and the blood's not really flowing to your muscles, and doing the warm-ups is just going to really get that going. So whether you're a beginner or an advanced player, you should always do these warm-ups. There are some days where I don't do them, but most of the time I will pick up the guitar and I will do them for about 10 minutes or so, and that just kind of gets things going. So for starters, what you want to do with your left hand is want to come down here to our first fret with our first finger and pick and hammer with our second finger. So it's pick, hammer, and we're going to take that and go all the way down to our low string here. Then on our way back up, we're going to do pull-offs. So going to start with our second fret on the way back up. So second, and then pull back off to our first finger. Run that back up. Then all we're going to do is move that up to the second fret. Third fret. And fourth fret, and so on. And when I first started this, I used to go all the way to the 12th fret and then go back down. I used to do that. I don't do that so much now. I think back then I was just doing it just to build endurance and things like that. But there does become a point where it kind of becomes not necessarily useless, but less effective. Because the better your technique gets, the less effective these become for building technique, and they mostly become a warm-up tool. So that's the basic exercise with your left hand, and what you're going to do with that is you're going to do that between all groupings of fingers. So this is our first and second finger. And I'm going to use my foot here for just a metronome. Okay, so that's our first and second. Usually I'll run that maybe to the 12th fret and stop. And then I'll start with the next grouping of fingers down here. So what you'll notice is when you play these is that your first and second fingers are always going to be your strongest, especially when compared to your third and fourth fingers, which is your third and your pinky finger. It's a very weak finger, and it's just takes a bit of time to build it up to speed. You start with your first and second, and then you move to your second and your third. So second, third is just this, same thing. Okay, so that's the second, third finger, and that definitely is harder than the first and second finger. So now if we move on to our third and fourth finger, you'll definitely notice that it is much slower than the first and second finger, which is fine. I should really be slowing down, doing it a bit slower, maybe this speed. So remember, this is just a warm-up tool. It's not really musical. It's not really meant to be played for long periods of time because it does isolate the muscles in between your fingers. And when you start playing this, you're going to feel a bit of pain, or a bit of, I guess, workout pain, you could call it, in between those muscles. Now, obviously, if it's hurting, you know, if you feel pain, you want to stop. But if it's just, you know, workout pain, like you're working out muscles, you know, keep going. If you are a beginner at this exercise, I would encourage you to do it much slower than I did. I was just demonstrating it for demonstration purposes, maybe at the speed that I do it. But if you're starting out, it's much better on your muscles, and you'll actually see more results if you do it slower. Oh, actually, you can also do these fingers, so 1 and 3, but now you have 2 frets in between, so you have, so it's do that one, and you can also do your second and fourth finger. Again, a little slower because you have your pinky involved. So that's really going to get your left hand going. I'd say if you do this 10 minutes a day for 2 or 3 weeks, you're really going to start to see your left hand have some more endurance, and you also see a bit more speed. Okay, so that's about it for the left hand. And what I'll do in the next video is I'll discuss the right hand and things that you can do with your right and your left hand to really get things going.